Hey, internet friend, it's me, Bradley G, Magic Brad to you here at Synergy Cafe in an undisclosed location at my home office. Oh, I'll disclose it. I'm in Fridley, Minnesota, which is a little teeny suburb, I think about 20,000, 30,000, just north of Minneapolis, Minnesota. You've heard of that before. And I've got a new guest on. I just found him on Facebook, or he found me. I'm not sure which. But this is going to be kind of fun. We're just going to have a conversation about his business and what he's doing and where he's going with it. I'll give you a little hint. It's a little bit about like video, and it's a little bit about storytelling. So stand by. I'm going to go to the green room and go get him. I'll be right back. There he is, Bill Grant. How you doing, Bill?
Hey, man, I'm doing good. What's going on?
Oh, it's just the same thing, different day, right?
Indeed. Indeed.
Well, thanks for
what is it, Thursday?
Thursday.
Whatever. Yeah.
No, they all roll together. You're a self-employed entrepreneur, so every day is the same, right?
That's right. It never really changes. So
yeah, exactly. Now, we were talking earlier, you're down in the south end of the world in South Carolina, is it?
Yep, that's right. Columbia, South Carolina.
And how long have you been down there?
I've lived here 29 years.
Okay.
So I moved here in 96 with my first job. So my first job brought me here from Aiken, South Carolina. It was right down the road, but
so you got some deep roots there.
Yeah. I grew up right down the road and just moved away for college for a little bit and then moved back here after college.
And you married and got kids?
Yeah, I been married 28 years this year and 2 kids. I got a 22-year-old and a 16-year-old.
Okay.
So yeah, it's an interesting life, man. So
let's get into your business thing. Is this something that you've always aspired to do as far as video and things? Or did you ever want to be on TV or be an actor, or you want to be behind the camera for movies? Or
no, not really. My wife is a wedding photographer. So she was a photographer when I met her, and then started doing weddings shortly after we moved to Columbia. And she had a bride at one point that wanted a video for her wedding. And so I went to Best Buy and bought a video camera and said, let me try it. And so I walked around all day with the bride with the video camera. I had, 2 batteries, so I'd be charging one while I was shooting with the other one. And I filled up, 2 or 3 tapes worth of video and dumped everything to a VHS tape and gave it to her. And she loved it. She flipped out over it and said it was the best thing that she did for her wedding. And she couldn't believe how great it was. And I was like, this is really crazy, because I knew it wasn't good. I knew I didn't do a good job. There was no audio bits involved. I didn't record anything from the ceremony itself. I just followed them around all day. And I had no tripod or anything. I just handheld the camera.
Well, that was early Blair Witch trial stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Well, and so that was probably 2001 or 2, something like that. And, I just knew I was bad at it. And I wanted to get better at it. So I just started practicing, and I bought DVDs back in the day. When you wanted to learn something, you bought a DVD instruction, and I eventually got a job with the local videography company who really taught me how to do things, and started my business officially in 2005 with no business. I had no business starting a business in 2005. It made no sense. I was not very good at what I was doing, but I was just very excited about it. My wife was very good as a wedding photographer. And so I was able to sort of ride her coattails for a little while. And people would add me on. They would add me on as video to her photography.
It's a good mix.
And so that's how we got started. And I just dove into it and soaked up the learning as much as I could. And I practiced as much as I could. And, I have all of the early videos of my kids are all just me practicing. I bought a new piece of equipment, or I bought a new light or a new microphone, or stabilizer or something, and I would practice with the kids. And so, yeah, and that was, 20
So
years ago, and I'm still trying to get better every day.
you should have paid them to put them through college, and then you would be able to write that off.
Start having them as stars in
Sick. I
the
got to hire
production.
talent.
Sure. Yeah.
So
That
when
makes
I
sense.
saw your domain name, it kind of got me curious. I'll pop that up here. This is
Yeah.
your website,
Yeah.
at told by. And then I looked at it a little bit. It has to do with storytelling. So
Yeah.
you just don't record stuff.
Right.
You're actually more in the concept of telling a story around it. And that's what everybody's been saying, and I'm seeing that's how you sell stuff, by telling the story about it.
Yep.
And when I heard that, I went back to, I remember when Budweiser used to do their commercials, and then they told the story of the hops and the ingredients and how they did it. And that's what kind of got them popular, because people go, oh, that's pretty cool how that
The Clydesdales,
works.
right? And they would integrate that kind of stuff into there.
Yeah.
And the best companies are the best companies at marketing are the companies that do storytelling well. You know, that you really understand who they are and what they're there to accomplish, right? Because what people want is not what you're offering. They want their problem solved, right?
Right.
So a lot of the work we do, and all of this came from weddings. I did weddings for 17 years. So I stopped doing them in 2022. And they just got physically too hard at some point. I just couldn't carry a camera around for 12 hours. But we learned that it's a repetitive, day. Everything is the same with just about every wedding, unless you get something like an Indian wedding or something like that, where they switch up everything, but
sure,
it's generally the same. But what you learn is you learn how to find the stories within the people that are at the wedding, and you learn how to craft that together with, all of the pieces together that kind of tell the story of the wedding. And we learned how to translate that to businesses and to nonprofits. And we do a lot of work with nonprofits. We do a lot of work with, fundraising. And a big part of what we try to help people do is to connect to people emotionally so that they can help raise money for nonprofits. And we love that mission.
Like with the weddings, you're probably saying, so how did you meet the spouse? Or how did you meet the bride? How did you meet the groom?
Sure.
And you hear the story, and now you're weaving that into the nonprofit sector, and people need to know, okay, you want me to give money to you and donate to your silent auction and stuff. Why?
Yeah.
What's the deal? And then if you hear the right story behind it, oh, it's the heart. Okay, here's the money.
Yep. And realistically, it is about why. It's about why they do it, what keeps them connected, but it's about what we accomplish. It's about what we can do together. It's all of those things. And I think it's really important that what we do is we don't let people get away with their mission statement. We have to dig in a little bit deeper. And the idea of things like with a wedding, like how did you meet, is a great framework that gets it started. And then you realize what makes that magic, that what's the reason why they're together, right? What makes that magic? And that's what we want to try to do with our current kind of direction, is what makes it work? What makes, what keeps you doing it? Because working in a nonprofit is very difficult. It's not something hardly anyone does without a passion for the mission that they're on. And that's what we try to get down to. So.
Well, it's kind of like people don't care what you do until they know how much you care, kind of thing. That little.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you definitely don't want to be working with somebody and find out that they don't like you.
Right.
Have to have some kind of alignment there.
Like is important. It's also, motivation is I love getting those core stories. Here's why, I've talked to so many people over the years, and all the hundreds of stories that we've done, and that origin story, what got me connected to this. And sometimes it's boring. Sometimes it's, my company forced me to do it. We had a nonprofit initiative with my company, and I started doing it there, and I just got so connected to it that I kept doing it after I left that company. And all of that stuff still works. It's just, we just love as people to hear other people's stories.
Do you do most of your work locally there? Because you can't really do it. I mean, can you do it? You can't really do it virtually, can you?
Not exactly. We could do it virtually. We just had a local restaurant that we did. They were celebrating their 40th anniversary. We had done the wedding of the daughter of the founder. And so they contacted us about doing a story about the 40th anniversary of the restaurant. And one of the uncles was in Greece, Greek restaurant.
Okay.
So one of the uncles had moved back to Greece and was running an olive plantation in Greece where they were making olive oil and sending it to the restaurant. And so we said, okay, well, if Uncle Gus wants to be on the video, we just have to get Uncle Gus to record some. I'll send him some questions, get him to record the answer to the questions, and we'll integrate it in. You want to send me to Greece? I'll be happy to go to Greece and interview Gus. Usually that's not in the budget. But I mean, we travel very easily, right? So, I mean, we've been all over the country to produce content. It's just a matter of like, what's most efficient for the budget. And so we're able to integrate those things in if we need to.
Is that something that are you going into the nonprofit sector? Is that what you're looking to do?
Well, we realized over the course of this year that we just had the most success with nonprofits. And
that's a good way to go then.
Honestly, yeah. And honestly, 60-70% of our clients have always been nonprofits anyway. And so we just decided to lean into it, that's really what we're best at, is making that content that helps nonprofits raise money. And it's very easy to talk about. We have been working on doing social media content, and we've been working on making TV commercials, and we've been doing other things. And it's just not as fulfilling as telling a story that will really help people.
Well, it's kind of interesting if you do want to do some traveling and stuff, maybe if you worked with some of the, what do they call it? Like a special type of landscaping in Costa Rica where there's all the rain and stuff.
Yeah, there's all kinds of, listen, we worked with a fishing lure company last year that makes fishing lures. And their fishing lures are manufactured in Costa Rica by this group of families that are all in this little village right off the coast of Costa Rica, and they make all of the lures. And they used to make something. I remember what he said now, but they used to make something that is not being exported from Costa Rica anymore. So now they make fishing lures. And so this fishing lure company from the US keeps these ladies employed in Costa Rica. And we were talking to him about maybe going down there to get the story.
Well, that's kind of what I was alluding to.
Yeah.
The possibility of that could be your intention is taking the family traveling, see the world, and
sure,
to pick the destinations by marketing to the people that are in them specific areas. If you want to go to Bali, if you want to go to Hawaii, you want to go
honestly, I've done so much of that. I've done so much of that traveling for work that I like having young people that work for me, so I can send the young people to do it, and then I'll make the money off of that and go where I want to go. Like, I've been to Chicago, but I've only been to Chicago for work.
Got it.
I want to go to Chicago where I don't have to work. I want to go see the Bean, or whatever that is. It called the Bean, the big silver bean. I think it's called the Bean. I want to see the Bean just for fun and not because I'm there shooting it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
My wife is that way too. She's like, leave the work behind. I want to go on a vacation.
Yeah.
I get that.
I've not been to a wedding as a guest in 20 years. It would be interesting to go to a wedding as a guest, and see the flowers and not have to shoot that, and see the cake and not have to shoot that, and think to myself, I'm going to eat a piece of cake just because I want to eat a piece of cake, not that I'm starving because I haven't eaten all day, and so I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I think we have the potential to do a bunch of cool stuff. And one of the reasons why it's great living in South Carolina, living in a small city in South Carolina, is that I've had people where they will hire us. I mean, one of the reasons why we went to Chicago, they'll hire us to go shoot stuff in New York and Chicago and California and Texas, because it's cheaper to fly us there than it is to hire somebody locally. Because, things are just less expensive where
Yep.
we live, because living here is less expensive than living in Chicago or
I get that.
California.
Sometimes doing magic shows, you get out in the rural areas, they actually appreciate you more and pay you more than they do in the cities where there's all the competition. So
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. There's not as much to do. Right. So
exactly.
yeah, I can definitely see that happening, but that's a goal obviously is we want it. Yeah. So the question was, do we do mostly locally here? Most of what we do is local, because we love working in our community. We love working close to home. I've done a lot of traveling for business, and I don't love it. And I especially don't love it in 2025. It's just gotten so complicated to travel, and things have gotten so kind of weird out there. And
Do you
so,
get do you get most of your business through your marketing and reaching out, or you get a lot of people referring and saying, "Hey, you got to talk to Bill Grant because he can hook you up with the right deal"?
well, and I've been doing it here for too long to not have a good referral source. You know what I mean? Like, so a lot of the work we do, and I just sent a proposal before we got on the call here. I'm a musician, so like I was in the band with this guy who is now the director at a nonprofit, and they need a video. So he and I are talking because we were in a band together.
Mhm.
He and I have never worked together on video projects, but that I had that connection, and that's all we needed, and so we kind of went from there. But yeah, so much of our work is that we did work for somebody else who's either now they're at another organization, or they had a meeting and somebody told them about it, or whatever it happens to be. A lot of that is referral. Otherwise, we have been we have a studio here in Columbia, so we started a podcast studio about a year ago, and have been most of our marketing has been centered around the podcast studio and actually doing podcasts here, so that we can draw people into the studio and kind of get them associated with what we're doing that way. So
That's a good way of doing it. There's a couple guys doing that up here too.
yeah, it's been interesting, and there's very few doing it here. So nobody's
So,
actually providing a studio for other people, which is interesting.
so when
So
you go out to do a job, how much equipment is it that you got to pull around? Is it a big box truck or a van or a
no, it depends. You have to understand, my origin as a wedding videographer means that what I want to do is travel light all the time, right? So, I'm sort of the anti-box truck guy, right? I want to be able to throw everything in a backpack and roll. And so now, if we're doing interviews, if we're doing things that require lighting, we'll take the adequate amount of lighting. We have all the lighting that we need and all that stuff. And we do a good bit of that where we'll go on site and do interviews. But we have obviously a studio here, so we try to do interviews in our studio if we can. But yeah, it's not as much as it has been in the past. And I try to have at least 2 people on a shoot, but I try not to have many more than 2, just because almost everyone we work with is nervous about being on camera. People don't like it. People don't enjoy being on camera. And so the fewer people and the less, the minimum amount of stuff that I can bring to a business or to a nonprofit is going to be better for them, because I'm not going to disrupt what they're doing. I'm not going to get in the way.
It's hard to get people to just do these interviews because a lot of people are afraid of getting on the thing.
Yeah,
If
of
you get
course.
too many people in this place, the person sitting in the hot seat is going to get more nervous because I don't know if I want to share that because there's.
And it's an irrational fear. Most of them will speak in front of people with no problem, right? You can
Right.
you can get in front of a room of 1,000 people and speak, but a camera makes you nervous for some reason.
It
And
does.
so,
That lens kind of changed. Oh, I got to fix my hair. Wait, not yet.
oh yeah, and it's never exactly right. And there's a there's a there's a there's a principle of science, right? That almost all of us are used to seeing ourselves in reverse. So if you see yourself in a mirror, you're seeing yourself reversed. If you're looking at yourself in the selfie camera of a phone, you're reversed. And so what happens when you get in front of my camera is you're seeing yourself the way everybody else sees you, right?
Sure.
You're flipped to what you're normally seeing, and obviously none of our faces are symmetrical. So that's why people don't usually like it. They look at themselves in a video or in a picture and they go, that doesn't look like me, because they're normally used to looking at themselves flipped. And so we have to understand those ideas going into everything that we do, is that we don't want to be disruptive, but also we want to take care of the people that we're interviewing, because we want them to feel comfortable or more comfortable in front of the camera, because we got to get good usable content out of them.
Mhm.
And so it's self-serving, but we have to get usable content out of them, and we're not going to do that if they're scared or nervous or mad at they're mad at their boss that they have to do it.
Yeah, totally makes
There's
sense.
all of
Otherwise,
that kind of stuff, you know.
spend that whole day putting that all together and then find out the product doesn't look
And,
so good.
and you will never see me doing a 1 hour interview. I do 5-minute interviews, 5 to 10 minutes at the most. You know, I never try to get anybody for longer than that, because the stamina is not there for people.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that, because we're coming up on 21 minutes, and I usually do about 20. But the reason I do it is because I don't think people want to consume a 4-hour Joe Rogan video,
Yeah, who knows, man? I'm not that interesting, I guess.
and neither am I. But people can put it on 2 times speed and watch it in 10 minutes. So
Yeah, that's right. It depends on who's the guest, right? So that's the Joe Rogan thing, is if he has the right guest on, you'll go, okay.
there's that, and then there's also the content. And once again, we got your website here if anybody wants to find you.
Yeah.
And is there anything else you want to share before we sign it off? On your website, do you have any like a free little download or something, a guide to being comfortable on camera or something like
So
that?
we've done all that content on our social media. So our social is as told by agency. So it's at as told by agency on all the socials. So we have videos on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube Shorts that are just all of that content stuff. Just talking about how to think about content and how to think about making videos.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, cool, Bill. This has been kind of fun.
Yeah, man. Well, it's good to meet you, Brad.
I'm going to pop you in the green room. If you want to stick around, we can have a conversation. But if you got to go, I get it.
Yeah, man. I've got to set up the studio for shoots tomorrow. So,
okay.
Yeehaw.
Thanks, Bill. Take care.
All right, man. Have a good one.
There you have it, our friend Bill Grant. And here's his website once again. It's astoldbyagency.com. And that's how you find him. And if you want to support me, you can always do this. You can buy me a coffee. There's an opportunity to give me a little money to keep this thing going. And I do use it on coffee because it's Synergy Cafe. And one more shout out to our friend Bill Grant. Right there, video storytelling. So if you want to learn more, you can go see this on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Just go to magicbrad.com/live and you'll find it. So thanks again for tuning in to Synergy Cafe. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I want you to be good, be kind, and be nice. Okay?